in you.
Hey, welcome back. It's a Freaky Friday edition of Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. We're in the Liquid Lunch Outpost, our little downtown studios here in New York. We're still feeling our way through, building things. We're building a wall, just like Donald Trump over there. We'll show you that in the Best Of show. You got to tune in tomorrow, Saturday, at 5 p.m. for the best shots of Liquid Lunch, which are all the best interviews of this week, all the stuff you missed. And inside there's a little behind the scenes and what really goes on in this bizarre, crazy place they call the Lunchbox Studios. You got to tune in at 5, and if you miss it on Saturday, the best shots comes back at you again for one more shot on Sunday at 1. So, Frankie, I want to go on a little bit of a rant here.
Oh, boy.
And I'm getting so frustrated with this whole impeachment charade. People are actually coming up to me, Johnny T, did they really just throw the president out? Or like people who don't follow this stuff too closely, like they're just around the edges of the generics, they think there are people out there who think Trump is not president anymore because they impeached him. So they are like nullifying him right now. Like actual people who voted for him are like, oh my God, he's out. He's not out.
Could have been worse. He could have been
He's not out, okay? First of all, let me put it a little schoolhouse rock for you, simple form. The House of Representatives is controlled by leftists and progressives who are still whining and crying because Trump won the election and he blew him out of the water. And they rigged the whole thing and he still blew him out of the water. So now every chance they get, they're trying to take it away. They voted to recommend to the Senate to remove him from office because of these 2 bogus articles that have no criminal code classification. Okay? No criminal code classification on either one of these ridiculous items. And now they're going to go over to the Senate and say, hey, let's throw the president out of office. And the Republicans, the president's party, control the Senate. And they're going to say, Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, and others, sorry, the price is wrong. And this is all going to be over with. But they're really killing the guy. And deep underneath it, the guy who's like leading on the Democrat side, when he was the vice president of this country, he actually threatened the same country, Ukraine, that he was going to withhold money from them, $1 billion. You're not getting it unless you fire a certain prosecutor who happens to be investigating my son's company. So take a look at what Joe Biden, from his own mouth, not from a whistleblower and a third person, and supposedly someone said, I thought. Here's what Joe Biden said.
Convincing that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid at the time. Well, they made some genuine, substantial changes institutionally and with people.
That was the vice president. Told the president of another country that he was going to withhold vital aid from them unless they did something for him. Fired a prosecutor who was investigating his son's company. And wouldn't you know, 6 hours later, he was fired. So Frank, help me here, because I played the whole clip so you don't yell at me and say I took it out of context.
Right.
That's the words from his mouth.
All right.
How does this square up? I don't understand. How come they're going after Trump for other people saying he might have done something like this, and here's Biden saying, I did it.
Well, I guess, look, you're not going to get me to make the argument for impeaching President Trump.
No, I'm not.
I guess the difference would be is that Joe Biden wasn't doing it to dig up dirt on a political adversary. I guess that's what the president's detractors would say.
So quid pro quo is allowed unless someone suggests that they supposed that you were doing it against a political adversary.
You
Why
know,
isn't anybody? Can I?
I don't think was there anything wrong
Now
with,
that I showed you
with what President Trump did. So.
there's nothing wrong with what Trump. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing there.
Well,
but what they're
nothing illegal,
there's no
nothing
there there.
impeachable.
But what they're alleging, Joe Biden actually did. Clearly, it's his own words. Now, as I always do, I did also make a little shorter clip that takes it out of context, but kind of boils it down to the simplest things of $1 billion, fire the prosecutor. Take a look.
I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I looked, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. Got fired. Got fired.
Pretty simple. I made it repeat a couple of times so that it's clear to everyone, but you're not getting the money unless you fire the prosecutor. Prosecutor got fired.
Well, I guess the question
Ta-da!
that a lot of people might have is,
Let me ring my bell.
was there a reason for this prosecutor to be removed on the merits? And it seems that this wasn't just Joe Biden's policy, it was the policy of the United States government and the International Monetary Fund. They threatened to withhold $40 billion in aid from Ukraine unless this prosecutor was gone. I mean, this was a view, I don't know whether it was right or wrong, but this was a view that this prosecutor should go in many capitals around the world and in a lot of aspects of Ukrainian democratic
I'm with
society.
you, but this particular prosecutor was going after the owner of Burisma, okay? And the owner of Burisma took all his money and ran to the UK. And then we had to go try to help them track this guy down because some of the money that Ukraine got went to the oil and gas company. He absconded with it. So U.S. taxpayer money got stolen by this guy. We want to get him, and they want that prosecutor fired. So in this case,
It certainly has an appearance of impropriety at the very least.
We're always talking about appearances. Ooh, it's just a whiff. It doesn't look right. It's technically not illegal. It doesn't pass the smell test. Like, no money unless you fire the guy investigating my son's company. You fire the guy. You got the money. I don't know. Well, I keep that in mind if you're thinking about voting for Joe Biden.
Yeah, Joe Biden actually, I think, had his best night on the debate stage last night. But the guy that, in my view, really stole the show was Andrew Yang. Now, if I were eligible to vote in the Democratic primary, I'd vote for Tulsi Gabbard. But if I couldn't vote for her, I would absolutely vote for Andrew Yang. I love this guy. This guy hit it out of the park last night, including in this clip.
The Democratic Party relies on Black, Hispanic, and Asian voters, but you are the only candidate of color on the stage tonight, and the entire field remains overwhelmingly white. What message do you think this sends to voters of color?
It's both an honor and disappointment to be the lone candidate of color on the stage tonight. I miss Kamala, I miss Cory, though I think Cory will be back.
But then that was all the time he spent on it, and then he went into his whole plan for universal basic income. He didn't take the bait to race bait.
Right.
You know, I
Exactly.
really
I like Yang.
have become so impressed with this fella.
I like
Honestly.
him a lot. We've been begging him to come on the show. I
Yeah.
texted him.
He's
I
a big
tweeted
shot
him.
now. Big shot.
He's at like 4% in the polls.
No, it's more than Cory Booker is.
I'm
right?
saying, but it's not that big of a shot. I mean, we're fair here. We're not going to attack him. I
agree.
like the guy. He's different. He don't wear ties. He's cool. He's techie. The whole country's going to be run by robots within the next 10 years. So we should get a young, smart guy somewhere in there. But, I mean, Trump's going to win anyway. So it doesn't matter. But Yang is definitely, if you ask me, doing a really good job of, representing an outsider in this. Him and Tulsi would probably be, a good pairing.
Maybe.
You don't like it?
We got to run. Let's chat
Oh,
about
we
it
got to
a little
run.
later.
Okay. I never run. The last thing I want to do is run, jog, cardio. The thought of it is painful. We're going to take a quick break right here, and we're going to come back. What are we going to do next? We're going to have on...
You want to talk to Rick Mehta next?
Yeah, we're going to have on candidate for U.S. Senate from New Jersey to take over for Cory Booker, hopefully, and knock him out and find somebody who will give a little tender loving care to the Garden State. Rick Mehta is going to join us right after this.